Hey everybody, this is Coach Loke with Gold Standard Coaching. With the stay-at-home laws and the social distancing, there's not a lot of places to drive around and film a baseline drive, so maybe I'll do it in front of the pool and have a baseline dive instead. But it's a little too cold for that. Limited sports news to talk about. So I wanted to talk about my Dodgers. Some of you know I have a new gig. I'm doing history of the Dodgers stadium tours, for lack of a better description, which is going to be great. And I have a long history with the Dodgers. You know, the Dodgers announced that they were going to move from Brooklyn to Los Angeles in October of 1957. I'm not saying that there was a lot of celebrating in the Lokar household, but 9 months and a couple of weeks after that, I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Family was Pirates fans, but I think they were closet Dodger enthusiasts because the Dodgers had drafted Roberto Clemente and left him unprotected in the Rule 5 draft in 1954, and he went on to become a Pirate great, so I think the family was pretty thankful for that. The way I tell the story is that it took me 2 years to convince my family to follow the Dodgers to the Los Angeles area, and I came out cross-country by train when I was 2 years old, and we became Dodger fans and went to as many games as we could when I was a kid. I was a middle infielder that wanted to be just like Bill Russell, and saw some games. Got a chance to see Willie Stargell hit one completely out of the ballpark, one of the few players that have ever done that. So that was always an exciting time. As I was growing up, I remember listening to games and hearing Vin Scully broadcast the games and bring them to life for me. And I would do this thing where I created my own personal pitching machine. I tied a wiffle ball from a string, hung it from the front porch, and after I heard Vin say the wind-up and the pitch, I'd hit it up onto the roof, and it would go on the roof, and it would roll back down, and it'd swing towards me, and I'd hit it again and again and again until I swung and missed, and then I'd start all over. And that was how I listened to my Dodger games. I actually still have that transistor radio. You know, as I transitioned from mostly coaching to mostly public speaking, I had an opportunity to address a group of baseball coaches, and I followed Mike Scioscia, and he told a great story about the time when he was a catcher for the Dodgers and playing for Tommy Lasorda. And it was a year Steve Sax was struggling a little bit at second base, making his throws, and they were trying to turn Pedro Guerrero from a left fielder into a third baseman. Scioscia said he lost about 15 pounds backing up throws to first base from those two. So after a comedy of errors, after a game, they're in the clubhouse, and Tommy goes into one of his classic rants and asks Pedro Guerrero. He says, "Pedro, what are you thinking out there?" And Pedro said, "Tommy," he says, "when pitcher goes into his windup, I pray to my God two things." Tommy says, "Well, what are they?" Pedro says, "First, I pray they no hit me the baseball." And Tommy says, "Pedro, you're a major league player. You've got to want the baseball, you've got to expect the baseball, you've got to field it, and you got to throw it. Now, what's the second thing?" And Pedro said, "I pray they don't hit it to Saxy either." Then, as a dad, I wanted to take my family, take my children, take my two sons, both baseball playing young men, to games as often as possible. And now our routine is kind of, we'll get to the ballpark for batting practice. We'll hopefully catch a home run ball or two. We have been pretty lucky doing that. And then we'll grab a bar stool over the bullpen, and my son likes to watch the pitchers and see what he can learn from their bullpen session. We usually just have about enough time from the time they finish to hustle to our seats and take in the first pitch, and always stay until the last one. Hopefully that happens to the tune of Randy Newman singing "I Love L.A." It's great to be a Dodger. Coach Loke, out.